button's been repurposed. Shank broke, and they drilled a couple of holes and used it again. This is a site right here that I wish I'd have had every beginner that's just starting to metal detect. I wish I'd have had them at this site right here. I came here, and you know how you just kind of scout around, swing pretty free, you know, pretty fast really, considering how we do it. That's the way we do when we're scouting. I found one button and couldn't find a debris field. Would have swore there wasn't a debris field. Me and Jeff came back about a week later, and he found a button on the other side of the tree right there. So I came over on this side and found I think I found a cufflink. But anyway, I came back, put my 8.5 by 11 coil on, and started going really slow. I don't know how many buttons I found, maybe 30. Found a piece of an old Spur. And so it just goes to show, you have to go low and slow. I get out of that sometimes, and I've been doing this for a number of years. There is a spring right at the end of that tree line, a good spring. And I don't want to show too much right there. There is a fence line that runs right through here. And a big tree right there. Jeff found a button on the other side. I've found 3 on this side here. First signal this morning coming back, and I've got a flat button. Shank is broke off on it. Good start to the day. I think I'm going to find some flat buttons, maybe a coin or 2 on this spot. This in here rang up as a 40. It's a little cuff button, and the shank is broke off. Just having to go slow. I'm using my 5x8 coil on the AT Pro, but I brought my 10x5 on the GPX. I'm going to try it here in a minute. See if I can get a little more depth under these corn stalks. There's a Colonial house here. Out of that hole right there, I have got a great find right here. Big old dandy button. You can see the starburst on it. Still got a shank. At the 1700s button right there. Late 17. Sweet. Buttons have been around for thousands of years, taking many shapes and forms and being made of a variety of materials. Colonial buttons, generally speaking, were made of lead or pewter in the 1600s and 1700s. Then later in the 1700s and 1800s, the majority of the buttons were made of either tombac or brass. But the history of the dandy button is an interesting study. It doesn't appear that the dandy button had as much to do with functionality as it did show. A dandy, historically, is a man who places particular importance upon his dress and physical appearance, his refined language, and his leisurely hobbies. But a dandy could be a self-made man who strove to imitate the aristocratic lifestyle despite coming from the middle-class background, especially in the late 1700s and early 1800s. Now, it's unlikely that many of the American colonists were wealthy people at the time. However, there were undoubtedly a few who wanted to stand out from their peers in the community, and the dandy button was a perfect way to accomplish that. And after all, it had become a part of the culture at the time, and we all want to be in fashion. I got another cuff button with the shank broke off. This here wasn't laying 2 inches under the ground. I'm going to change to my 8.5 by 11 coil. I'm just not getting a lot of depth with this coil here. And it's not a great big debris field, so I think I can use it. There's the old big tree right there where I've found several buttons right along in here. And the old house set just right in here. I sure thought I had me a flat button whenever I pull this out, but it's not. You know what that is, don't you, Jeff? You found one at that Colonial site that me and you found right after we left the Gallatin camp last year, and you found one of these. And Dave Wise ID'd it as part of an old Spur 1600s. What a great find. Wish I could find the rest of it. Find these around these house sites. It's a brass tack. I guess they use those for about the same purposes that we do with tacks today. Little squeaker right there. I'm just out from that tree still. I got my 8.5 by 11 coil on now. And I've got another flat button here, another cuff. Nothing this morning is having shanks. That's okay. I'm in another flat button spot, another Colonial house. This one here will ring up high, like 80 once or twice. I thought I might have some Spanish silver. Keep going. This one here was really choppy, and you see how deep that was. It's on down just a little bit deeper than that plug. I got a big old coat flat button. Shank is broke on it. Man, I'm loving this spot. This is the same button, and I cleaned it up. And you see those two holes right there. This button's been repurposed. Shank broke, and they drilled a couple of holes and used it again. That's how important buttons were back in the day. There's my tree right over there. Spring is directly behind me, and I've got another flat button way down low on the hill here. Shank is broke off of this one. I can't find one with a shank. This one here rang up a solid 69. Wasn't too awful deep. All down the hill from the tree, and it's been a little while since I found anything, and this was a really scratchy signal right here. Not good at all. It's a Tombac, and it wasn't too deep. That may be what the deal is. That's 1700s. So I've got an old site here. Getting ready to go. There's my pack and my GPX, and I come right in front right here and got a little squeaker here. And I got another flat button right in front of where I put my pack down. You know, that happens more often than you think. Well, this find tells me something that I already know, that this is an old site. It's a pewter spoon bowl. So that dates this house back to the late 1700s, early 1800s. Great find. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Be sure and catch Relics Radio on Thursday night. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We have a good time. We generally have a real good guest. So check us out. It's on Spreaker.com/diggingwith7. See you next Tuesday.